Hello, and welcome to Cinema Sibs. I am your co-host Rachel Leishman.
And I am your co host, Patrick Leishman.
Good job. You did it. We are obviously siblings, and we like to just talk about movies that we grew up watching and enjoy together. And so this week we are doing one of the bests that ever was, the Pittsburgh legend himself. We're talking about Michael Keaton's Batman in the 1989 Tim Burton film Batman,
I am wearing my Batman t shirt. If I
which
have a
is
t shirt for whatever movie we're doing, I will wear it. And I definitely have a Batman t shirt. So,
yeah, just set the scene. My cat was almost named Bruce Wayne, but he is too sweet, so instead his name is Benjamin Wyatt, but he does have Batman wings because Ben
I,
Wyatt loves Batman.
yeah, and it works. My wife bought them for you.
Yeah. And she was really upset when I changed his name until I think you told her,
Treat
but
yourself.
Ben, yeah, she was
It's one
like,
of the
oh
best
no,
ever.
oh no, she changed his name. I bought her these bat wings. And you were like, it still works. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. Just on a quick side, whenever he fixes the modem in the Batman costume, if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil anything. Go on YouTube. It's easily found. Just put in Ben Wyatt Batman modem, and it will
It's great.
be the first 10 videos to come up. So
It is a perfection.
it is exactly what you should do in a Batman costume. But
It is so, so good.
oh yeah. So Batman 89.
Yes. A movie that is good. I like Batman Returns better because I like Catwoman, but
But like what came first, chicken or the egg? Like
yeah.
Batman 89 changed the game. Like that era, you had Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns,
Hmm.
Batman 89, and Batman is basically what he is today because of mainly those two things. And Batman 89 definitely has its flaws and weird moments, but one thing it did do is make Batman like awesome. Because, I mean, comic book movies aren't in 1989 weren't what they are today, but it was a gamble for sure. Because I mean, I think the previous superhero movie that came out was Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, and the special effects regressed by the time that movie came out, so it was kind of a joke. Everything was Canon Films, which was basically like just bad cinema, like pump it out. Um, but He-Man, Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren, like now they're cult classics and people like love them, but back then they were jokes
Hmm.
and like not all that profit or they I think they were profitable. I can't say that, but I would it was towards the end of canon, so I would doubt that they were, especially with some of the cutting costs and production of those movies that I saw. But the point I'm trying to make is that Tim Burton's Batman 1989 changes the ball game. And it's just Batman, but I like to refer to it as Batman 89 because post this movie, the amount of Batman content is insane. And I would say 80% of it is fantastic
Yeah,
and
except
and good,
you know what my gripe with almost every one of it was until the Batman came out. It
which
is that
is
he was never an actual detective. Everyone else was a detective. Keaton's was the closest one to
I was
actually
just
being.
about to say, like, watching this movie, I say to my wife, I'm like, Rachel always says that thing about a detective, but like Batman's the one that figures out how to like beat the
Keaton, that's
Joker's
why Keaton was
toxin.
my favorite because he
And
was
he's
the
always sitting in the Batcave, like looking at his computer and researching stuff. But I mean, like, so the detective stuff is there.
it just isn't explored as much as like I want it to be because that's the whole thing is like it's detective comics because Batman is a detective, and most of the time, like in the what one when's the George Clooney? Is that Forever or is that Batman and Robin?
No, it's Batman Forever is Val Kilmer. Batman and Robin is George Clooney because that's the
Okay,
last one.
so Batman and Robin when he like the detective work that George Clooney does is he like looks at Alicia Silverstone's like shirt and he's like in school and like drinks something and I'm like, "Oh, great detective work. She's in a fucking schoolgirl outfit. Like, good job, Batman."
Let's
But like
not pile on because Clooney himself takes care of it. He robs us of that because he takes care of it for us. Like
but it was like
it is bad, and it's not like the Batman Adam West bad, like Batman 66, Batman the movie. I think
yeah,
like that's like so bad, it's awesome. Like I love that movie.
he punches a shark. We talked about this. He literally is
Sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb. Like that's the most insane moment in the movie for me. But yeah, George Clooney's Batman like gets close to that, but is not that at all.
no, and I like the Schumacher movies. Like I like them both because I as a kid they're very colorful.
Well, Val
So I
Kilmer was a good Batman.
yeah I loved those movies when I was younger. But like Keaton was my favorite until Robert Pattinson because I like how much of a detective story the Batman is. That's why I'm excited about the Penguin. I'm excited about all that stuff because it is so rooted in like Batman being a detective. This movie is like better because it's like, yes, he's clearly a detective, but they're like, you don't need to actually see him do anything. You can just like know that that's what he does. And I'm like, I don't know. I want to see him with like a little fucking cipher trying to figure out what's going on in a scene.
I'm just laughing because you say like, oh, he's like such a good detective and, like all this stuff, and it's like Alfred's the one that cracks the secret code, and he misses the biggest clue, which leads to the whole climax of the movie. Like
Wait,
he
for what?
has the carpet puller deal that
Oh, yeah.
that like is like the crucial clue. Like he had that for days, I think.
He
I
didn't
haven't
know
seen
where he
that movie
lived.
to
He
what?
couldn't he didn't know where the Joker lived to do that. Like he had the carpet puller, but he didn't know how to get to where he needed to pull the carpet.
What are you talking about? They found it there.
Did no, I thought the carpet
Yes.
puller was one
I
of the earlier
look,
things he had.
we need to do a review on that movie because the last time I saw it was probably like 4 or 5 months ago. Because it's like 3 hours long and it's like a
Mhm.
sick day movie. Like I don't feel good. I'm gonna lay in bed and watch like a 3 hour movie, and your options are Titanic, Lord of the Rings, and now the
Or the
Batman.
Batman.
So like it's like, oh, we have something new since I don't really watch Titanic but once in my entire life, and
Don't
that
get me
was
started.
under protest. No, I'm just kidding. But and I'm pretty sure that like the carpet puller like that he uses to kill that guy, it's in the same place.
But then he couldn't. We have to review this movie,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
he
We're talking about a different Batman movie.
because he couldn't do it with the cops there because that's the whole thing is he has to break back in when the cops
But
are
there's a
gone, and
cop there. That's how he
the one
figures it
cop
out.
no, the one cop lets him get away with it. Like the cop is like,
Yeah.
okay, like
Oh
and let
yeah. He's like, that's a carpet puller. My dad has been in the carpet business for 50 years. I knew that the second you found it.
I get, let me make it clear what I actually like about
I
detective
no, I
movies.
agree with you. With all of that said, I agree with you. I just find it hilarious that you always say that, and it's like, but he screws up a bunch of times as a detective in that
Well, but that's the
movie.
thing is he's still trying though. Like we get to see him
The
like
key
investigate.
is it's
He's
supposed to be a
seeing.
trilogy, and what you do is in the next movie, like he needs to like find something similar and be like, what does this thing do? Like, find me a carpet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he needs to like demonstrate that like he built upon that mistake and isn't going to make it again.
Yeah, and I think like Matt Reeves is intelligent enough that it'll happen. I don't like. There's a reason Keaton was my favorite prior to him, and it's not. Um, the thing is, like, I love Keaton because he is from Pittsburgh, like us, and I've loved
Mr.
Michael
Mom,
Keaton. What?
Mr. Mom.
Yeah, I've loved Michael Keaton movies. Like, my love of Michael Keaton is rooted in the fact that I'm like, that guy's also from Pittsburgh. That's really cool. But I do think he's the better of like the 80s into 90s Batman movies because they actually like feel like a dark and gritty Gotham, but they're still fun. They're not like we have to make it so dark because it's Batman. And I like
Gothic can be like you can do Gothic. Like Wayne Manor is a perfect example of that. Like
Mhm,
the juxtaposition, like they open with that party. I mean, they don't open with the party, but like the introduction of all the players for the most part happens at all the good guys happens at that party. You get Harvey
mhm.
Dent, Commissioner Gordon, all that stuff. But it's gothic, but it's like bright and there's like weird stuff, but it's not necessarily creepy. The bat cave below is what's creepy, like an iceberg. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's the 10% that he's going to show you, and the 90% is below, and it's gothic is all hell. But so you can he like plays with that where it's like it's gothic but bright, which is like a weird way of doing it, but it works for that movie. Like I agree. I noticed that when I watched it back.
Yeah, one I also like too. My problems with this movie are like I think rooted in my like real world problem or not real world, like modern day problems with Batman stories. Like I don't need an origin story for the Joker. He can just be the Joker.
Oh, yes, dude,
Super
I have
Joker.
that on a note right here. It's like I prefer a Joker without an origin story, but with that being said, the origin story that you get isn't the worst. Like I
It's just
would
you
prefer
don't
like
need
Mark
it.
Hamill, Heath Ledger, where you just like he's
Yeah.
just a being that is already like kind of like how you get Batman in this movie.
Well, because
Because you get
the
the
thing,
origin story like in the like towards the end of the second act.
yeah.
Like, and it's just because he realizes that, spoiler alert, the Joker is the guy who killed his parents, not Joe Chill.
Which then don't even get me started on the movie The Joker, because then Todd Phillips was like, I'm gonna be real original. The Joker's killing Thomas and Martha Wayne. It's like, you're real original. That's literally the plot of Batman 1989 and the
Yeah,
Joker's storyline in that.
Jack Napier.
Yeah. But, and then his name is Arthur in the Joker. The thing is, I like the Joker as just being, he's a being of chaos. Like,
Yeah,
I don't need anything else. He is just chaos. That's the whole point of the Joker.
yeah, but as Forrest, like Killing Joke, all those different like interpretations of what might be. I don't mind the Killing Joke. But mainly because it's left open ended, and I'm not going to get
Mhm.
into it. If you want to know the story, there's an animated movie that takes some liberties from the original like graphic novel, but go get it. It's worth a read. Uh, but I kind of like that they created each other. Like it doesn't. I don't hate it, but I would rather it like his Joker is perfect otherwise, except for you know how he became the Joker.
I
And
don't
it
like
does have elements of the Killing Joke because like the actual act of the creation is the same. It's just the circumstances that lead to it are different. If you know,
yeah, well there are two movies that do this. Granted, this is not the first one that did it, or this is the first one that did it. The Dark Knight is the second one that did it. I do not like when
no,
they are like, let me make the Joker's face skin toned with the lips. Like I hate it. I don't like it. It freaks me out. Let him just
that's the
be
point though.
white
In
with green hair.
like that's the point in this movie is it's
Yeah, I
meant to
know, but
like
I
creep
still
you
don't like
out.
it. I
And
still don't.
in the Dark Knight, he's just meant to like blend in,
Yeah.
like for a brief amount of time.
Which
But like on the TV, where he's like, I mean, come on, that's I like when he goes and meets the mob bosses, and he's like that, and he's like, does this look like a face that's kidding?
well, and I do think my favorite part of like when we saw The Dark Knight in theaters, to set the
We did
scene,
right after we got back from vacation.
yes, to set the scene, the woman that I'm going to mention in a minute canceled. We don't like her. I don't support her work, but I do own the fictional character I'm about to talk about because I'll buy him with every ounce of money I have. That movie came out not long after Order of the Phoenix when Sirius Black dies, and that's my favorite character in Harry Potter. And so I own Sirius Black. I don't care what I have to do to buy him. He's still one of my favorite characters. But Gary Oldman is Commissioner Gordon, and Patrick and I had very different reactions to when the Joker maybe kills Gordon because he was screaming, "Oh my god, but he's not commissioner yet. He's not commissioner yet." And I was screaming because I was like, "I can't watch Gary Oldman die again." And like we both were like upset, and my mom I think was like in between us, like, "What the hell is wrong with you two?" Because we're both flipping out for different reasons at
Just
the
for the
like,
record, it would have
"What's this
been
movie?"
more disbelief, like, but he's not Commissioner Gordon yet. Like,
But you said it like
how can
four
this
times.
be?
You said it
Yeah,
like you're like, "He's not Commissioner Gordon
yeah,
yet. He's not Commissioner Gordon yet." We were like, "Yeah, okay."
yeah, yeah. Like like Doctor Who, where he's like, what, what? Like that was me. It's like this isn't no. Like he hasn't reached his true potential, his destiny. He's
He's
just
not
some
Commissioner Gordon.
rando like captain or whatever he was,
He was a
lieutenant.
lieutenant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I the thing is, and maybe it's because I love Barbara Gordon, which is why I don't like Alicia Silverstone's Batgirl. Like I don't hate her, but
You mean
she's
Cher's
not Barbara
Batgirl?
Gordon.
She's
Yeah, but she's
basically
not.
Cher.
She's not Barbara Gordon.
No,
Um,
she's her character from Clueless, Cher. Like that's basically what she is in that movie. Like just a
she's
little, like instead of concerned with fashion, concerned with like fighting crime, but like it's
she's
very
good.
similar.
I just don't understand why they did that. Like she's good in that movie, but I'm like,
Why is
is
she
it because
Alfred's niece?
well, it's because I was what I was gonna say is like I don't care about Gordon in these movies. Like, and I think that's the problem is like I don't. I'm like,
You don't
there's
care
no
about
reason.
Gordon in these movies because Gordon is not like Gordon's just like they're like, look, there he is.
Yeah, you're like, okay, there's that guy. I mean,
Yeah,
I
there,
love Commissioner
there's
Gordon.
Gordon. He's gonna say tough stuff, but never interact with Batman.
Well, it's just I like the party sequences. Like I like Kim Basinger. I love oh my god, Arliss. What's his Richard?
Knox. Robert
No,
Wool? Is that
Robert
like
Wool. Yeah, I was like
yeah.
trying to figure out Robert
I
Wool because
thought
I
you were
was
talking about it's Alexander Knox.
yeah, but I called him Arliss because that's the show he's on.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I want to get into some of the weird stuff about this movie. Like,
Go ahead.
all right, so first of all, like the newspaper articles. Do you know, like if you like what Time magazine have you ever seen in the 50 plus year history of that magazine where it says, like what's the pictures like the Tibetan like the her establishing photographs where they're like, hey, I saw
Oh,
your work in Sierra Madre or whatever, Sierra
I
Madre.
forget because
Yeah,
I
but like it says like photographs by Vicky Vale, like bigger than the name of the thing. And then later, Vicky Vale's like sitting at Knox. I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that. I was like gonna put my feet up, like sitting at Knox's desk, and she's like, uh, oh, so you're the guy that writes about the Batman, and she throws the newspaper down, and like just as big of the headline in a box, so your eyes are driven right to it. It says by Alexander Knox, and it's just like, okay, man, like we get it. They wrote the article, but like, why did they make such a big deal to like make sure you knew that like this was from like this person? I don't know. It just I have a little background with newspapers, and I like to read the newspaper. And not once in my life, and not one article did I ever see where it was the person that wrote the article was larger than the headline, and that just like was like weird. The other thing is that like okay, picture that you're in the 80s and you still are living in New York City
mm-hmm.
and you meet a billionaire, okay? and you guys like fall in love, and you spend an evening together, but the lady never tells, so we'll just say that you slept there. And you wake up in the middle of the night, and this billionaire is hanging upside down like a bat. What would you do on the first night that you like spent with this guy and just met him? Like,
Run.
okay, I didn't want to speak for women, but like I just figured the right course of action, like 90% at least would run. Maybe 10 would be intrigued.
But it is Michael
But
Keaton
if there's
there.
also if there's also a vigilante in your town that is bat themed, and this guy is like even got his arms like a bat.
Or like Grandpa when Grandpa used to sleep and he would look like he was dying because he was
Yeah,
just like
like
this.
he have his arms crossed like the Undertaker. And I put a mirror under his nose. Like, you see,
I think too, just like I don't know. I don't care about Vicky Vale. I don't remember in the comics if they actually are a couple at any point, but
yeah, I mean, she's like a love interest, but like they found early on that it's like much like Captain Kirk, like Batman's real love is justice, and there's no woman that's going to come
and Selena
between that.
Kyle.
No, because he chooses justice over Selena Kyle every single time.
Yeah, but then they have a daughter and she's my favorite character in all of DC Comics.
And what's their daughter do?
She is the Huntress.
And
She's the Huntress. She fights crime.
yeah, thank you. Justice.
Yeah, Helena Wayne, the best. I love
I'm
her
just saying that it's just Batman doesn't get a love interest because fighting
because of
crime is
justice.
his first love, and it will trump everything else.
But then he has children with two criminals.
Well, one is an
Because Talia al Ghul is
anti-criminal.
Damien's mom.
Yeah, no, yeah, Talia. But
That's what
I'm
I said.
saying no. I was talking about Selena Kyle when I was so
Mm,
rudely interrupted.
sorry.
No, but she's more of like a anti-hero, or
I'm
like
talking about
a
in the sense
pause
of
criminal. Why is it always going to be anti-hero? Why couldn't it be like a pause criminal? Like, she's a criminal with a good. Well, maybe that's not the right like hyphenated phrase, but you know what I mean. Like, she's
well, she's not a villain.
a
I
criminal
love
light.
but yeah, because
She's
I
Robin
love my
Hood is basically what she is
yes, but I love female characters that are not villains, but are not necessarily heroes because it's why I
because they're
like Wanda.
realistic.
Yeah, because that's why I like Wanda. Like she said, I'm being reasonable, and I was like, great, I love her. She gets it. She's like, don't mess with me, I'm not happy. And Selena Kyle's the same kind of way. She's like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like I don't care. You can't stop me. And Batman doesn't because he loves her.
Yeah, and because he knows that she's the right kind of criminal. He doesn't need to waste his time with her fight, like
She's not
stopping her.
trying to destroy Gotham
Yeah,
and
like
blow
she's
it up.
trying to like take entitled people and teach them a lesson and help out the poor. It's always
Yeah,
been a deal. Every time that like all the good Catwoman stories, she's helping out some young kid that like was a stripper or a hooker, and now she's letting them live at her house with the 15 cats. That only Selena Kyle. It's not weird that she has like 30 cats running around.
she's right. Has have as many cats as you want. I think what is also interesting, and I wonder if it was because they were trying to like move away from Caesar Ramona
Romero,
Romero.
Romero.
I think they were trying to move away from like not kitschy, kitschy is the wrong word, but like how outlandish that Joker was because like the 60s Batman villains are all what you assume Batman villains were from the comics in the beginning where they were like
Well,
Batman's all dark and gloomy and then it's like I love playing cards, I'm the Joker. And
I
like
think the
whatever
Joker's very first like appearance, he like poisoned the Gotham water supply and tried to kill everybody.
he gets
Like
it.
that was the prank. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
But
like
it's
I get
still
like
the
about
prank
5 years
thing.
later they were all like Batman 66. Like yeah, I
But
like
it is you say that, but it is still in the Joker's mind a prank where it's like he
well, yeah,
slowly
because
became this
he's mentally
mastermind,
deranged.
but he became this mastermind of like, I'm chaotic, but evil chaotic, and I want to destroy the world. Where I think that first version of the Joker was like, I'm doing very horrible things, but also I think it's funny. Like it's
That's why
less,
that's my motivation. Yeah,
yeah, and it's less like I want to watch the world burn and more like hee ho ho ho, this is funny. And
yeah,
then this movie like toes the line between the Joker of like he this is all very funny and I actually want to watch the world burn. And then it has just progressively kept going that direction though. Like have not seen a Joker in a real long time, don't necessarily want to anymore. That is genuinely just like have like doing things because he thinks they're funny.
yeah. But as I think you were kind of alluding to, Nicholson's Joker. When I watched it back, I'm like, I said to my wife, this Joker is like he might like like watching it again. He might be like still the best one of the movies. He's definitely, if not the best one, number two behind Heath Ledger. Like
I think Heath Ledger's is the best
like,
in
but I'm
terms
saying
of
live action
performing
because
Joker.
I don't I Mark Hamill, I mean, he's great. Like there's a zillion voice actors and I'm saying like actors in the suit
I
with the
like Alan
makeup.
Tudyk too, but yeah.
Yeah, but like yeah, but you know, not taking anything away from those guys, but it's different if you have to go in 3 hours, 4 hours before everybody else to turn into the Joker,
Mhm.
wear the whole get up, like with the three-piece suit on sets with 3,000-degree lights hitting you all day long and do that performance. It's different than being in a booth. And
Mhm.
like I said, nothing taken away from those guys because I can't do either. So I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying, like, I want to just talk about live action and dude, Nicholson's Joker is he gets the essence of like as the movie progresses, like you said, he starts going this way. You don't know what he's gonna do next. Like
Mhm.
just like shoot somebody. Like he gets more anarchist and like loot like becomes more of like this modern Joker that we're used to as the
Yeah.
movie goes on. And it's really good. Like he deserves all the credit he gets. It's just that Heath Ledger did an Oscar-worthy performance of the guy,
Well, I
and
just
Jared Leto tried. I mean, but come on, look, Jared Leto
I mean, it
gets a
is funny
bad
that
rap
you have
for
not
that, but he at
mentioned
least tried to be original.
wait, but I do think it's funny that you've not mentioned the other Oscar-winning Joker performance at all.
Oh, you talking about Arthur
The
Fleck?
one I hate the most, yes,
Well,
Joaquin. I do not like
look,
that movie.
look, I Joker doesn't work without Batman. Batman can work without the Joker, but he still needs a good villain, and he has the best villains gallery out of all of
Well,
them. But like,
I
I
slightly
don't
disagree.
care.
I slightly disagree, but only because Harley works without Batman, and I think
Yeah, but
I'm
I
excited for
didn't
the
mention
sequel.
Harley.
No, but the sequel to Joker is Joker and Harley, so I am excited about that because I was like, I love Harley Quinn. I'm tired of the Joker. I don't need to see him ever again. Like he's been
Yeah,
done.
but that's when someone comes and does something that you've never seen before and knocks it right out of the park. Like when people start
Yeah.
saying that, that's when the like Babe Ruth comes and changes baseball. Tiger Woods changes golf. Like something like you I get what you're saying, but like there's a reason why the character has been Batman's number one villain the
Hmm.
whole time. You know, like like pretty much the entire time. And it's because of the fact that like he's so versatile. You can reinvent him. You can do the Caesar Romero. You can do the Jack Nicholson. You can like they even have a storyline in the comics where it's three Jokers, and there's the clown. I forget because it's been a minute, but it's like there's the clown, the jester. There's three different versions, and I'm
Hmm.
again not going to spoil it, but um, it just plays into that like the Joker is this entity that you can do pretty much. I mean, there's interpretations of the Joker where like he teams up with Batman and their allies solely because like they need each other, or the
Yeah.
Joker needs him. Batman would never admit that he needs the Joker, but
I think part of my problem comes from the fact that like post Heath Ledger, everyone who has played the Joker has made it their entire thing, being like, he's this character is so hard to bring to life. And I don't discount that because I seeing the chaotic nature of the Joker on screen, I believe it. Jack Nicholson even said it was really hard to play the
I was
Joker.
just gonna say,
I
like, he
believe it.
helped with that whole attitude.
Yes, and I believe that. But it is the
Oh, I
fact that
just like think about what I just described about, like, the makeup and being that
yeah, but it's
under.
just I think it is the like Jared Leto nonsense mixed with like the fact that Joker as a movie like completely misunderstands everything about the Joker that makes him interesting and like yes, it's the dumbest thing I'm mad about still, but like the fact that that movie uses businessmen singing "Send in the Clowns" to the Joker and thinks it's smart for doing that just infuriates me because it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And I think that movie as a whole just made me so angry about like how people interpret the Joker that I just kind of like checked out. However, I liked the little bit that we got from Barry Keoghan in the Batman, and like I don't necessarily need to see a whole movie, but I do like the idea of like him being in Arkham and people have to go and check in and be like, what does he fucking know? Like, hey dude, can you tell us like about this guy? Like I like that he works as Batman's
Hannibal
basically
Lecter.
informant. Yeah, he's like the
Hannibal Lecter,
informant that he needs.
and
Yes,
he's
I heard you. I
Clarice
agree.
Starling.
Yeah, I love that. That I would love as a different way of looking at the Joker rather than
I
just destroy Gotham.
I just disagree with you. Like, I would love to see more portrayals of the Joker. Like, is Jared Leto bad? His portrayal is weird. I like the little bit you get in the Snyder cut at the
Yeah, I
end.
did like the Snyder cut version of the
Like,
Joker.
I like the changes that he made to the character. But like I said, the dude tried something completely different. And did it work? Absolutely not. Not that Suicide Squad version of the Joker. But I am like, dude, he had the balls to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because if it were me, and I would be like, no, he has to have the jacket and like I want him to look exactly like how the Joker is supposed to look. And Jared Leto was like, nah, dude, like my Joker is basically freaking Sid and Harley's Nancy, and we're gonna freaking like run this town in my
What?
purple Lamborghini or Ferrari, whatever that was.
Yeah, I think it was a Lambo, but it does work. That like that for me works because of Harley because that is my favorite version of Harley that I've seen, and it gave me a live action Harley, so I like that a lot. But it's just kind of like I don't know. I don't. If they gave us more Joker stuff, I just want to cut out the whole like I'm gonna send a dead rat to people, and like that stuff's not cool.
Yeah, but
It's just
yeah, that's
annoying.
that's the whole what do you call it? Method
It's
acting
not even
thing.
really method. It's them being assholes and using method acting as an excuse.
Look, personally, I think the best Joker would be a normal guy that is a freaking comic book fan. Like not like not a character actor, not like some like, oh, we're gonna bring in like this guy that is like known for like De Niro-esque crap where like he's not crap like, but he's gonna gain 40 pounds or lose 60 pounds or do this or do that. Like what you need is a dude that like like Patton Oswalt. Not saying that he should be the Joker, but like he loves comic books. He understands the character. Give someone like maybe mentally they can handle it because they're not like I have to inhabit this character.
Or
Just like,
like
look, I know what to do. Don't worry about it.
he was Deathstroke, so we couldn't use him. But like Joe, not Mangello, but what? How do you say his last name?
Mangiello.
Well, but him, but he is like he is a comic book nerd, and so like
Yeah, but he's too
he knows.
jacked.
No, I know, but I'm saying like someone like your Patton. It's also like someone like him where he like is a nerd.
Yeah,
I did think you
right.
were saying that the Joker should in the story be an incel, and I was like 100% on board. That's what
Who?
you were saying. an incel, like the like guys who sit on the internet and are like, oh well, actually, to like
Oh no,
women
well,
all the time.
no, I meant like Adam Brody is the first name that comes to mind.
But yeah, I understand what you
Not
mean
saying
now.
that he should get the part, but like he's got the body type, and like he doesn't seem like what I'm saying is the whole mental health aspect that everybody talks about with that rule is maybe you don't go for the method type of actor, the actor's actor, but you go for like the
A
to
nerd.
get yeah you go for like the stand-up comedian that's kind of like goofy.
I know who should be
Well, who?
the Joker. It is specific to me. Patrick, who is my favorite doctor?
David Tennant? Matt
Nope.
Smith. Every time I do this, Matt Smith.
I think he would be a good Joker.
He would, but
But he's not
I
one of those method guys.
is he gonna
He's just like, I don't give a shit.
is
I
he
think
gonna
it's fun.
have David Tennant's American accent, or like you think he
Well,
can
we're about
pull it
to
off?
find out because he might be Reed Richards. So we'll see what his American
Who?
accent sounds
Matt
like.
Smith?
Uh-huh.
Because I just the freaking Broadchurch, the American version of it. I don't remember what it was called, but his accent and that. And then there's this movie.
Don't bring
I'll
up the serial killer movie.
Yeah, but his American. Hey, what are you guys
Bring up
doing?
the serial killer movie. Isn't that the
It's
one where
just like,
he like keeps them in a
dude, like
basement, but
you're
they're
a
diagonals?
fantastic actor, but maybe you should just stick to like, British
He's
people.
not British. Don't do that. Don't
No, I'm
dishonor
saying,
Dad.
but he can do those voices. Like he's believable as British, but like maybe you could do Spanish guys. I don't know. Like just leave the
It's
Canadian
like,
American
don't
accents out of
don't
it.
you
Like
dishonor our name and our father by saying a Scottish man is British.
no, you missed my point. I was
I
saying the
understand what you're
accents, like you
saying
do
now.
good accents. But anyways, we are very deep into this, and we've barely talked about Batman 1989. We've talked
Anyways,
about yeah, but did you notice how epic like the character introductions are? Like for like even down to like Carl
you
Grissom.
mean was isn't the first moment you see Michael Keaton that the GIF that is now famous where it's like he stands up and it's like the Batman symbol behind
Well,
him and you're like,
that's the other thing is I realized watching this that like Keaton transforms the most when he becomes Batman, and it's
mhm.
because those ears are like a foot tall off the top of his head. So like Michael Keaton, I actually was looking it up, but then I got interrupted. I think he's like 5'10", 5'9",
Um,
5'10".
I'll look it up right now.
And when
Michael
he's
Keaton.
Batman in that movie, he's like Kevin Nash, like he's like 7'4".
He's 5'9".
Like
He's like a typical Pittsburgh guy.
right, but like the ears are so like every other Batman's ears are not that big. Like if you go and look at all the costumes, except for Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, and George Clooney, like that quadrology, however you say it, those four movies that those are the only ones where the ears are huge. The rest of them have like small ears on their cowls, but it makes Michael Keaton like look like what they say. Like it's an 8 foot bat. Like it's great, but like yeah, and Jack Napier and the Joker and Bruce Wayne and Batman, they get their own separate introductions.
Mhm.
Like, and they're all like even Commissioner Gordon, like everybody gets a character introduction. Even Bob.
I do think his mask is very funny because it does not fit. It looks like a guy who went to a store and was like, I gotta figure out how to like make myself look like a bat because the rubber on the side like sticks out like
Well, that's
here.
because of the head, because he can't turn his head.
Yeah, but
Like so, it sticks out because he's like stretching and condensing it so all the time.
I will say this movie also did give in unintentionally this movie and Batman Returns unintentionally gave me my favorite moment in the Batman because if you pay attention, I think in Batman Returns when he is in the like ice room with the penguin and he like has to take off his mask because the penguin's essentially like, I know you're Bruce Wayne or whatever it is. He goes from like having very clearly black makeup to
And
then
it's
he's just
gone.
Michael Keaton. And so then in the Batman, when Batman has like black makeup running down his face, I was like, yes, they
Dude,
kept
not
it
only
in.
that, but in one of the like back behind the scenes like videos with Matt Reeves, like Matt Reeves is like talking about his process, and they have a clip. I just watched it because you know I'm insane. They have a clip where like someone's standing next to Robert Pattinson and he has the black, and they're spraying like water, so it looks like he's Tammy Faye Baker with like just like the black makeup going down the sides, and he's just like, you don't hear what they're talking about, right? But like he's
You
like
just
the
see it.
acknowledgement while this lady's just spraying water on his face. Like it's only in Hollywood would he like not even react like to this lady just being like, shh, 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 shh. He's just
Well, and
like,
it's
yeah, I do think that that's what I'm gonna do in this scene. I'm gonna punch him, then I'm gonna say I'm vengeance, then I'll knee him in the face. Thank you. Yeah, like
but it's just funny because it's like it obviously like the other Batman suits, you can be like, yeah, maybe it's just the suit is that way, whatever. This one is so obvious, like black makeup around his eyes, plastic thing or rubber thing over his face. And yet they're always like, he takes that helmet, that mask off, and he looks just like Michael Keaton without makeup on. And it is just genuinely funny to me because
oh
it's like, you didn't think about that? I
no,
can
like
clearly see there's makeup on his eyes.
yeah, that's great. Like I always laugh about that. The other thing that I crack up about is that like they're like, see, he is a man. Like, dude's clearly a man in a suit. But like every time they're like, see, he's a man. Like, look, he just some kind of body armor. Like they're just, I don't know.
Well,
The bad guys are always stupid in
and it's
all
so
these
funny
movies.
though because it's like when you stop and think about the people who like are the villains of Gotham, the fact that they are obsessed with a guy that dresses like a bat and fights crime is hilarious. It's objectively funny because you have a guy who is dressing like a clown, running around and creating a crime ring, and to them, the guy in the bat suit is weirder than the clown committing crimes, or the man who looks like a penguin, or a guy who's like, let me ask you a question, you have to solve my riddle. Like the fact that Batman is weird to them is the funniest thing to me. I'm like, Gotham needs to figure out their priorities. Because yeah, sure, a guy in a bat suit saving everybody, that's kind of weird. But when you
Yeah,
look at who he's saving people against, it's way weirder.
but in your example though, Batman is only weirder in the this movie because Batman Returns he's
Yeah, they
like
know him at that point.
and they have the bat signal. I mean that's how he goes and fights the Penguins gang at the beginning of the movie is because of the bat signal and stuff. But your point still remains is that it's like this guy's clearly like there's one guy clearly fighting bad guys. Like these dudes that they keep finding are all like criminals. Like they have rap sheets and they have like people's wallets on them. And there's this other guy that is clearly organizing crime. In fact, he kills somebody in broad daylight right in front of news reporters as a mime in this movie. And they're like, Batman's our top priority, not this murderer in the streets, because
That
this
dresses
town
like a
needs an
clown.
enema. But
I just it's so wild just like when you stop and think about like it's why I think it's so funny when people are like Batman movies are supposed to be serious. I'm like, I'm sorry. There's a
not all of
man.
them.
Yeah, but I'm like there's a man who is a crocodile that lives in the sewers and he is a villain of Batman, and you're telling me it needs to be serious? Killer Croc is a Batman villain, or it'll be like, oh, I don't know. Think about like fucking just the Riddler. Like you, yes, you can make him serious, like we saw in the Batman, or it could be like Jim Carrey's Riddler, which is just like an insane man who uses riddles to like try and kill people. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
It doesn't
how is
make
it
any
serious?
sense, but that's the freaking point. Like, it's not
Yeah,
supposed
like
to make
how is
sense.
it serious?
They're criminally insane.
Here's my riddle. Like
Yeah.
it's
Riddle
just
me this.
Oh, or Mr. Freeze is the one that I'm like, there's no way you can make that man a serious villain.
Yeah, you can make him a sympathetic villain easily
I'm
because of
talking
his
about
whole
like when people
backstory.
think Batman should be serious. I'm like, tell me how you make Mr. Freeze a serious move. Like, put Mr. Freeze in the Christopher Nolan verse.
I mean, the suit is the only like crazy thing about Mr. Freeze, like the suit and the freeze gun. But
Yeah, but
like,
you need to have those.
yeah, but I mean, but you could science your way out of that. Like, like it's
Mm,
not out. It's my argument is that like the Riddler's whole backstory is that he's mad because we'll use Batman the animated series one. He created a game that someone stole and they reaped all the benefits and now he does like riddle based crimes to like
hmm
to get those who like went after him. That's outrageous. The Joker fell in a vat of chemicals and like became an insane criminal. That's outrageous. Mr. Freeze, his wife has a disease that he is a doctor of. His name is Dr. Victor Freeze. That
Yeah.
like it happens to be his speciality, and there was an accident that made him unable to survive unless he's in freezing temperatures. But he is committing crimes in order to fund his research to save his wife's life. Like as far as motivation goes, like that guy
No, I think
actually
his
has
motivation
real
makes sense.
motivation.
I think his
What?
motivation makes sense. It is simply just the freezing gun and the freezing suit that I think is like it's
Hey,
outrageous.
you know what, Rachel? Chill out.
Oh my god. Um, but yeah,
Question for you.
yes,
There's do do you understand? What I don't understand is Vicky Vale gets a pass, okay, but like I'm back to Batman '89 here. Vicky Vale, when I reference the scene where the Joker freaking kills that the mob boss, right?
yeah,
Okay, like if you go back, there's this great scene where the Joker's got like his face painted and he kills the one mob boss with like a electrocuting joy buzzer
hmm
or whatever, and then he like takes over all the crime families like in that scene where he kills the other mob boss. But Vicky Vale's there because she's tailing Batman because like as I said, they spend a night together, and then Batman is like the next day, Bruce. She's like Bruce, like let's go to do things. And he's like, oh, yeah, yeah, wait, no, I have a very important appointment today. And then Alfred's dumbass on the way out, rats him out because she's like, see you when you get back from your trip. And he's like, trip, Miss Vale? We're not going on any trips anytime soon. Right? So then she's tailing him, and he goes to Crime Alley to put two flowers down for his parents dying. Vicky
hmm
Vale gets a pass because it is not established that she's from Gotham and all this stuff. But Alexander Knox is a reporter for the Gotham Gazette. And she's like, what's significant about Bruce Wayne putting two roses down in this alley? And it seems to take him a week in order to be like, oh, his parents were murdered in that alley. He's a billionaire. Like, he's basically a Kennedy, like in our universe. Like, everybody knows about the Kennedys. Even, like, so how do they,
yeah.
how like that's the most famous thing about Batman and every other portrayal. Everybody, I mean, they're like 25 years since the Waynes were murdered in Crime Alley tonight at 11. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like anniversary news. But in this movie, no one remembers that Bruce
I
Wayne's
was gonna
parents were
give him
killed.
the benefit of the doubt because it's like, yeah, it's not really the internet, but if he's a reporter for Gotham, he would know that because that is an important part of Gotham history.
Everybody would know that. Like, they're the Waynes, they're the richest people in town. They're like
Yeah, but I'm saying like
benefactors.
we benefit from the fact that the internet exists. So like we could look up like I don't know, say we were looking up something in Pittsburgh. We could be like, "Oh, I forgot that happened in Pittsburgh because blah 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 blah." But like now I looked it up on the internet and I know it exists. Where this though, like he should know because it is important to Gotham history. Like if a general person in the public was like, "Oh shit, I forgot about that," I wouldn't be mad. Like he's a reporter.
But yeah, but like my point is that like if she walked up to a random person and was like, "How long have you lived in Gotham?" And you're like, "All my life." Oh, okay, cool. Why do you think Bruce Wayne would walk down that alley with two roses? Don't you think they would at least be like, "Wasn't that where his parents? Hey, Midge, wasn't that where Bruce Wayne's parents were murdered?" Yeah, you know what? I think so. Like, you know what I mean? There would at
Or
least
it would
be
like clue
that.
them in at least. They would be
Yeah,
like, "Oh wait, his parents." Like they would just at
yeah.
least remember the fact that his
Right,
parents died.
but the fact that a reporter doesn't know that that happened and it took him a week to find it,
Yeah, the fact that it took him a week when I'm sure if you just looked in the newspaper archives and typed in Bruce Wayne,
because
at least
yeah,
would come up within the first 10 results.
right, because they establish like that when Bruce finally shows up at her house with the three flowers and stuff to
Hmm.
apologize, she's like, "You hurt me. It's been days." Like, so let's just say it's been 4 days, half of a week, 3.5 days. It took a ace reporter for the Gotham Gazette that long to find out the most significant thing that ever happened to anybody in Gotham.
Well,
And it was
I'll
only
give him
20
the
years
benefit of
ago,
the doubt. I'll give him the
20, 30
benefit of
years
the
ago.
doubt. Maybe he was working on some other things and forgot to go and check it for her and was like, let me go do this for her real quick. And then realized, like, oh, that's right. His parents died.
Yeah.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, that's just like those are like honestly the only other gripe I have with this movie is a stupid one, but like those are the ones it's like, dude, quit like you're a Batman, like you just wear a suit to put fear and because superstitious and cowardly lot are criminals, like that's what you're doing with the suit. Don't they only do it that one time and then they never reference it again, but it's just like why are you sleeping like a bat? You're trying to impress this girl. That's why you're doing it. Like, cause you have an audience, so you're like, oh, I got to do my Batman thing. You know, be
I do think
mysterious. And then, of course, the Alexander Knox not knowing that freaking Bruce Wayne's parents were married in
parents
Crime
died.
Alley.
I do think that this movie could have benefited from one more villain just because I do like when they what I like about these movies is that there are two villains and until there's three in the last one, but like I like that there's more than one villain. Um not that I think that it needed it. I just think it would have been fun to like continue to just do like 2 to 3 villains in every movie.
Are you counting Bane as a villain and not a henchman in Batman and Robin?
No, because Batman and Robin isn't that Mr. Freeze, Riddler, and Poison Ivy?
No. Riddler and Two Face are Batman Forever, and then Poison
Oh
Ivy and
yeah,
Mr. Freeze are Batman and Robin. That's
yeah.
why I was like, are you counting Bane? Because he, like, yes, he's a villain, but that Bane is a henchman.
I was remembering wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
So every movie
But,
has two.
yeah, two shitty ones in the last one. But, I mean, even the Christopher Nolan ones kind of has two in each one.
Yeah, because he
Because
has
Ra's al
Ra's al Ghul
Ghul, but, like,
and
it's, and Scarecrow,
Scarecrow.
and then it's Joker and Two Face, and then
Yeah,
it's Talia al Ghul and Bane, who gets
and
promoted
and then
to
Catwoman's in there too. So
villain
you kind of
status.
had she's not a villain, but
Yeah,
you
but
have
we
three.
already talked about Catwoman. She's not a bad guy. She's
I said you have
Catwoman.
three people.
I'm pretty sure even in that movie, Anne Hathaway's got some kind of like young girl that's got
She does. You know who it
checkered
is?
past that she's taking care of.
Yeah, she does. You know who it is?
Who?
Keely Jones. It's Juno
Oh,
Temple.
you mean you said it wrong? Oi,
Yes.
Keely.
I know it's Keely because it's or Juno Temple is her like roommate.
Hmm. I have to go back and watch those. We'll have to do one on those. It's been a minute since I've seen the C. Knowles trilogy.
Oh, Nolan. About to go see
Yeah.
a Nolan movie today again.
Are you allowed to watch those on TV at home, or do you have to watch them in a theater? Those
You
Batman.
you have to rent out a theater and watch them in
Yeah,
70 millimeters.
that's what I thought. I thought yeah, that's like you won't
Inception
enjoy
is
it unless it's in IMAX. It's impossible.
IMAX 70 millimeter to be exact. even though I was lied to when I saw Oppenheimer because I bought a 70 millimeter ticket and then they,
It was 69 millimeters.
yeah, no, they couldn't figure out the reel, so they just did digital, and so didn't tell us. We all thought we watched 70 millimeters, and then found out on Reddit like the next day
Did you
that
go
we
get your
didn't
money
actually
back?
see it. No, and then you can't get tickets. They just like didn't tell anyone, and so and it's impossible to get tickets right now. It's like sold out for weeks. It's
That's
annoying.
terrible.
Anyways,
And
Batman
then
89
and then
filmed
and
on
then
70.
and then my third beef, which is just dumb, but it drives me up a freaking wall, is
Mhm.
okay. So we're actually at that point when we're reviewing this movie because now Batman, like now Vicky Vale is like trying to figure out what's going on with Batman or Bruce Wayne,
Yeah.
and she receives a message that like, hey, meet me at the Flugenheim Museum for dinner. And that's when Batman gets back into the picture because she calls Alfred and says, tell Bruce I'm going to be late. And then he's like, all right. And then Alfred tells Bruce, and Bruce is like, I didn't schedule a date with her. But that leads to the Joker and Bob, who's the best henchman ever, uh, showing up, and the rest of the Joker gang to the Flugenheim Museum and just trashing all this art.
Yeah, the art, aren't they like I forgot about that. They're drawing like happy faces on everything, isn't it?
No, they're just like they'll put like ha 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 X's.
Yeah.
Like he goes to picture George Washington and he's like, he's on the dollar bill. Like that, and the dude like puts a circle around his face. And there's that one picture where the lady's like innards are like coming out and he like stops Bob and he's like, I kinda like this one, let's leave it alone. Like, but there's like a statue on a pedestal, and it's like a person with their arms out and one leg on the ground and the other leg like outstretched behind them, right? And the Joker like pretends like he's doing the same pose, and then just backhands this statue hard, like full on backhands this statue off the pedestal, right? And when it hits the ground, it makes a noise like this is iron or steel hitting a marble floor. And the Joker, nothing wrong with his hand. Like he doesn't even sell that it
What
hurt him
happens?
at all. And
That's
it
what happens when you fall into a vat of
ever since I was
whatever
a
you.
kid, I'm not exaggerating. Like I remember because I was 8 when this movie came out. I remember seeing it for the first time and being like, that should hurt. Like I not exaggerating, I vividly remember thinking that to myself, and it has driven me crazy 24 years later, or 34 years later. Oh my god, it's been 34 years. But that why did you hurt your hand, man? And it's not because of that, because he gets beat up at the end of the movie, and it clearly hurts. So unless the
Jeez.
back of his hand is like Achilles, and the
Yeah, I was
rest
just
of
gonna
his
say like
body
Achilles was the
is
only
well,
thing that
like
he
he just got the back of his hand in the water, and the rest of his body did not get dipped in that water, and so the back of his hand is impervious to pain. Like he should be fighting people, like slap backhanding people.
left-handed.
Yeah,
Like,
but I don't know. It just always drove me crazy. But um, if those are the only three things that drive me crazy, is that no one knows that Bruce Wayne, well, none of the main characters know that Bruce Wayne's parents were murdered in an alley. I mean, hell, Alfred basically tells her that when she
yeah,
spends the night and they're eating dinner at the big table, and then they go and Alfred's like, and he fell off a horse. Like, and he's
well,
like
it's like
embarrassing Bruce.
yeah, that is the funniest thing to me is that table.
Because that's the same table in the Flash. Like that kitchen is
But like that
kind of.
giant ass table.
Where he's like, "How's the soup?" And then he like what brings her the salt, and it's like he takes like 15 steps to get to her.
Yeah. It's just like, why? Like I understand Wayne Manor. That is the one thing about Batman I just genuinely think is funny is like he doesn't care enough to change the house, but it is like so dated and weird. I'm like, not even Alfred was like, "Hey buddy, what if we got a new couch with a chase lounge at like the end so that your feet can go up?"
Well, I just love like when they do like Batman Returns, like the first time you see Bruce Wayne,
Hmm.
He's just sitting in a chair in the study, like with his hand next to his head. Like I've never sat in a room with the lights off by myself, just with my hand on my head thinking. I would feel weird. Even with no one in the room, I would be like, I feel awkward. Like I want
Why
to
am I
leave.
sitting in the dark?
But why am I sitting in the dark with like with this contemplative pose? Like that's what would be running through my head is like, why am I doing this? Like I hope that's what's running through his head. But another through line throughout this movie is basically Alfred serves the purpose of Black Widow in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, in the sense that like throughout the movie, he's like, "That Vicky Vale's a cute lady. When are you gonna talk to Vicky Vale? Hey, Vicky Vale, she just called. Are you gonna go meet her at the Flugenheim Museum? Why didn't you tell me?" Like that's like kind of like what he's like the whole time, until of course that he just like lets her in the Batcave one day, which I also just find hilarious because they pay that joke off in Batman Returns like so great. I know you probably haven't seen Batman Returns, but if you remember, like he's like not in a while. I know I didn't finish
Just
the
like,
sentence. Out there listening on Spotify, Rachel gave me daggers when I didn't finish my sentence, implying that she never saw Batman Returns. I
after I
meant
talked about Selena
recently.
Kyle
Yeah.
so
I meant
much.
recently, like, within the
I know
last
I
12
saw
months.
it not that long ago because I watched all four of these movies right before the Batman.
Well, they pay off that he lets Vicky Vale into the Batcave in Batman Returns. He's like reaching into the fish tank and he's just like, well, I mean, like, you're the one that's not concerned about security. It's like, just one day I'm down there working and turn around and I'm like, oh, hi, Vicky. Nice to see you in the Batcave. Like, and it's just funny. I just always crack up when he does that because it's like, that's Michael Keaton's version of Batman. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Is that like he's Michael Keaton? Like he changes the voice, but it's more like a complete tonal personality change between Batman and Bruce Wayne. Like
Hmm.
like he's not like Christopher Reeve as Clark Kent and Superman, like that, where it's that drastic. But like his Bruce Wayne is very like playful and kind of like fun. Like even when you first meet him, like he meets Vicky Vale and she's like, "Which one of these guys is Batman or Bruce Wayne?" And he's just like, "I don't know, man. I'll have to let you know." And then the next time you see him, he's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I'm Bruce Wayne, and these are all my things that I had bought. Like, and you guys are making fun of them." And I'm not even going to acknowledge that you're making fun of him because f you guys. Like, you know what I mean? It's just his Bruce Wayne is great because he's playing Michael Keaton if Michael Keaton was Bruce Wayne. Where like I
Yeah.
think that you get a lot like Robert Pattinson is by far the most serious Bruce Wayne I've ever seen on screen, and it's like he's supposed to throw people off, man. Like he's not like
Well, yeah, I
he's
think that's why I'm excited
Christian
about the
Bale
movie.
nails it in the first two Batman movies. Like he
Except I
nails
do
it.
love Alfred in those movies is so funny to me because I love when Michael Caine is making fun of Batman Begins is still is my favorite Batman joke where he's like, "What's the point of all those bloody push-ups if
Yeah,
you can't even lift a log?" And Bruce is underneath it, like, "The hell?" Like
yeah,
he's
and then
like,
he lifts it up. Like it works though.
but he just was like, "I am under a burning log. You can't help me right now."
I love the choice of accent that Michael Caine uses for his Alfred because, like in The Dark Knight, he's like, "Sometimes men just like to watch the world burn." Like I that's a terrible impression. I please you don't need to comment. I know it's bad, but it's like this British Cockney like saying like that. Like
Because
sometimes
it's not as much his own because famously, if you want to say Michael Caine like Michael Caine, you just say my cocaine.
my cocaine.
You say my cocaine. And you're
Yeah,
like, great, it's
see,
Michael Caine.
David Tennant, I shouldn't do a British accent, obviously. It's my point.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, I I like this movie a lot, but I just like Batman Returns better. And
Well,
it's like
yeah, but Batman
I love it.
Returns, I think I brought it up on the show, which is my whole like, there's a lot of establishing going on in this Batman movie. By the time you get to
Hmm.
Batman Returns, like Batman's fully realized Alfred, like they don't need to introduce all those people,
Yeah.
so they can focus more on like the awesomeness of the story. Plus, Batman Returns 2020 is hindsight is also Tim Burton's like screw you because they all they wanted was action figures, Happy Meal tie-ins, all this stuff, and
Hmm.
Tim Burton wanted to make his Batman movie, and he went super like Batman Returns is way darker than Batman, and Batman's a dark ass movie. Like, and I'm not talking about the lighting, I'm talking
Yeah.
about the overall tone. And I mean, like, do people get electrocuted to down the skull and bones? And that, like, and he turns it up a notch. Like, penguins literally like
He
drag,
eats a finger off of a guy in the middle of a room when he's running for office.
and it doesn't affect his campaign at all. Like Donald
No,
Trump may be
but
onto something with the
like,
whole like I could shoot a man in Times Square.
yeah, he watched Batman Returns and was like,
Yeah,
got
he
it.
was like, Home Alone. I've been wasting my time. I needed to watch Batman Returns this whole
Yeah,
time.
I needed to see what Danny DeVito was up to. Um, I like, yeah, I just think like this movie less than Batman Returns. I love the Tim Burton view of Gotham. Like Selena Kyle's all pink apartment that she spray paints black and like ruins with the spray paint is like one of the coolest sequences, especially for like that character who I love a lot. And I like this movie, I was like missing stuff like that. Like it was still Tim Burton, but it was like more him being like, this is my Gotham. It is less about like the Tim
See,
Burtonisms and more about me making a Batman movie. And so I like that he leans into it more in Batman Returns.
I like you're talking about her reclaiming like herself. Like, I like the shift in power scenes. Like, I like where after Max thinks he kills her, and she shows up in a meeting where he can't address it and
Mm-hmm.
takes the power from him,
Or,
because
the
the rest of
iconic
the
scene
time
with
he's around
Batman.
her, he tries to be cool, but he has no power. Like, she has taken his power over her from him and made it her own. And that's the shit I like, especially with female characters, where like
Yeah.
there's a dude that thinks he's gonna like the one with the what's her face, Sally Sparrow from Doctor Who, where she's
Well,
the,
Promising Young Woman.
yeah, like that. Like the ending of that movie, like holy, like
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't completely, I'm not gonna get into that movie, but I'm just saying, like, I love that where she just walks in and like she owns it too. Like, she's like not like, because one thing I hate is when like someone appears like they're purposely trying to be cool, and it
Yeah.
happens a lot with like in superhero movies, and I mean that for men and women, and I just hate it. And like she like just stays right below that, like, no, I'm just fucking cool. I'm just
Yeah.
cool, man. And it's great. But I'm watching this YouTube video, and like I said, I haven't verified it, but it's talking about John Peters, who's famous because of Kevin Smith, and he produced Batman and he produced Superman Returns and whatnot. But uh the whole ending of like the cathedral and all that stuff, apparently John Peters went and had the set department like create all that without Tim
Mhm.
Burton's knowledge. So like that whole ending, like Tim Burton was like working that into the script, because apparently there's an interview out there somewhere where Tim Burton's talking about how Nicholson's like, why am I walking all the way up to the top of this building? And Tim Burton's like, I'll let you know when we get up there, because he honestly didn't know. But that's the like the visual of that is the Cathedral of Learning at the University of Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
That cathedral at the end. But like, I, I apologize because like this literally came to my attention a couple of hours ago. But it's still like an interesting little thing that we should look into and maybe get back to at some point. But that's what I was starting to talk about, was that whole ending, which is iconic, but admittedly a little like, why would he walk to the top of the cathedral? Because like, I mean, granted, there's a helicopter, but you also kind of trap yourself there because they're going to surround it, and like you don't really have
Yeah.
any way out. Plus there's a huge gap so they can work their way up to you because it's just you versus like a SWAT team. All you have is a hostage. Granted, she's a Time magazine Sierra Madre photographer, but still,
Bigger, her name bigger than the actual headline.
yeah, Victoria Vale, Vicky with an I, two
Vicky
eyes.
Vale.
But I don't know. I really this was like part of the biggest year of movies in my childhood,
Mm-hmm.
and it for a lot of people made Batman the coolest superhero of all, like ever. I don't know too many people of my age that don't think Batman's cool, and it's because of this movie. And it's hilarious because listen, people out there, nobody wanted Michael Keaton as Batman either. It was a joke when it was announced that he was going to be Batman, and 34 years later, we're sitting here today talking about how he's one of the best, and it was so serious, and he was so great. So maybe just relax, you know, and just let things happen and complain afterwards if you have a reason to. I know some people just want to complain, kind
Mm-hmm.
of, because they want to watch the world burn. Now that was worse.
Oh my
I'll,
god, that
I'll
was worse
stop.
somehow.
Yeah, yeah, I'll
That's
stop.
somehow worse.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
That's
But like complaining, like in hatred, like you might miss out on Michael Keaton. That's all I'm saying. Like, quit being so judgy. Sorry about that. I didn't close the door the whole way, and the AC kicked on, and it likes to slam doors and make you think there's a ghost in the house. So if you could hear that, sorry.
oh my god, the ghost. The ghost agrees. It said Michael
Yeah,
Keaton, great
yeah.
Batman, period.
No, but
Sleep.
like, I mean, you get the point I was trying to make is that
Yeah.
like, if it was today when Michael Keaton got cast, like they may be like rioting at Warner Brothers, not because of a strike. It's because, and it's like Michael Keaton was the bomb as
Mm-hmm.
Batman,
There's a
and he
reason
gave
we.
us like it's sort of like James Bond, whatever. Like I know he wasn't the first, but he was the first of like this new era, and like he gave us the like different voices for Batman and Bruce Wayne, like gave us the different kind of personalities, which in later interpretations you don't get. Like Christian Bale, I think he nailed that part of it, like in the
For
first two
sure.
Batman movies, the whole like drunkard idiot, and then so to keep you off the Batman trail. But
Yeah. Rose
I
Red.
and I'm not even getting like I in a previous episode about the Goonies, I went off about the music and how great it was, but it's like, come on, it's Danny Elfman in his prime. Do I really need to like talk about the music being good? It's like it was good. It's like it's like people still want that to be Batman's theme now. Like they don't care. Like you can change the movies all you want, but like that's his theme song. It's like it's like James Bond. They do it. Doesn't matter what era of James Bond, you still get the ba-da, ba-da, ba-da-da. But some reason, like it doesn't work like that in superhero movies, and I wish it would because when you nail it so well, why do you need to like go, oh yeah, but I want to do my interpretation? It's like, well, you know what? You still have to
Maybe.
score the movie, but let Batman have Batman's theme song. I get the
I
other side of the argument though. Like I do. I just don't agree.
I agree with you.
It's like they proved it with your favorite Artur Joss Whedon's Justice League.
If you're
I'm
not, if you're
joking.
listening to listen, if you're listening to this, know that I squinted my eyes so close together because I hate Joss Whedon's Justice League with a burning passion.
I think I actually felt a slap across my face from New York to where I am on the East Coast, which is not
Oh
New
my
York.
god. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, it's there's a reason that the Flash made any money, and it's 100% because of Michael Keaton. Like people went because of Keaton; they didn't go because of Ezra Miller. Sorry, um, and Michael Keaton delivered. I Michael Keaton was my favorite part of that movie, along with Sasha Calle.
Yeah,
Those were
Michael
the two
Keaton.
things I liked in that movie.
Michael Keaton was fantastic in that movie. I just wish that there was more Michael Keaton. Like I wish that the
You mean in the
rumored
movie?
original plan with Michael Keaton happened, which
You mean
was
with
Mike.
that girl that is currently on the floor somewhere at the Warner
No,
Brothers
I'm talking
Discovery?
about the whole like rumor that like they were replacing Affleck with Bruce Wayne and Bruce Wayne with Michael Keaton in like the like like I wish that rumor would have came true, or like I just wish they would. I just why establish a multiverse and then go, but no, we're not going to show you any like we're going to let you know this thing exists, but like we're still going to just stick with the main timeline. It's like I've always said, look, Marvel beat DC to the game when it
Hmm.
came to like serialized movie storytelling and like building upon what happened last and when it came to building that universe. DC should have been like, well, guess what? Like we have Elseworlds, we have like all these multiversal things. Like they should have just went right into like, we're gonna do Flashpoint, we're gonna do Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like we're just going to like assume our audience isn't idiots and be like, here's a Justice League movie where like they've already been heroes for a while because Superman is Jesus and Batman is an orphan and Wonder Woman is Zeus's daughter. You guys already know that stuff. Or Wonder Woman was made out of clay. Whatever superhero origin story you want for her. Like you already know that. So we're just gonna give you this movie and like you want Michael Keaton's Batman? Here you go. And we'll do that. We're gonna do this, but like no, they wanted to copy Marvel, and it's like well, now you're
They wanted to
20
do it
years
faster.
behind, and it's not going to work anymore because the bubble has already burst. Like Marvel movies don't even do good anymore. I mean, they do better than most, but like I haven't felt a Marvel movie be an event since pretty much Spider-Man No Way Home.
Hmm.
And I am glad I am not on any social media after making that comment.
But yeah,
They might
I
still find me. I should leave my last name out of this.
knock on your door. Excuse me,
Yeah. Excuse me, have
inquiry.
you seen Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania? And it's like, actually, no, because that's how little I care anymore. If I have 2.5 hours to sit around and do nothing, I guess I'll throw it on. But won't you be mad because then I have to watch the Eternals first?
The Eternals is a good movie.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that like there's only so many hours in the day and I read about all of them. Like I know what happened in all of them. I know like how it moves the story along. And if I have the time, I'll watch it. But like more importantly, like when they come out with a different movie, I just want to be able to be like, oh, I know what happened prior without having to waste 2.5 hours to watch it. Where like the reality is that Paul Rudd was standing in front of a green screen for 6 months in Atlanta. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like there's not enough time in the day when you're working a full-time job and you're like you still want to entertain yourself, but it's like as we're recording this podcast, Super Mario Brothers has shown up for free on Peacock. It's been on there for 3 days. I wanted to watch it all 3 of those days. Not enough hours in the day. That's my point.
Oh my god.
But I don't know what happened in that movie because I had every intention of watching it, so I didn't read about it. But I'm guessing he jumps on blocks and shoots fireballs and has a dinosaur best friend and a brother. And he's in love with Princess Peach. But I don't know.
Mm,
And there's
kind of.
Bowser, and he has kids.
Oh, and he sings. Peaches, 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 peaches,
Well, yeah, it's
peaches.
Jack Black. Of course he sings.
Yeah.
And he probably goes riddle deedle deet deet doodle because he does that stuff too.
Yeah, no, he goes
I'm going to
peaches.
see Tenacious D, by the way, world. Finally. I can't wait.
This is a long time coming.
Oh, I love Tenacious D, but I digress.
And I bet Tenacious D also loves Batman 89.
Actually, there's Jack Black recently he did a video where he dressed up like Superman and like a whole like spandex Superman suit, and it's
Good. That
Jack
makes sense
Black.
for him.
But do you know he was going to be in a Green Lantern movie, or they were pitching him as like Hal Jordan in a Green Lantern movie?
Good, that would check out.
He would have been a better Guy Gardner. Like he would
Yeah.
fit the personality type more. You just have to make him a little like hot-headed, which you know. But so, what's your overall feelings on Batman '89?
I like it, but I like Batman Returns better. That is my official take on Batman 89. Is I like it. I wouldn't have Batman Returns without it, but I like Batman Returns better.
I have a different experience because I was old enough. That was like the first time I was old enough to remember seeing the trailer in the
Hmm.
theaters and being fired up about that movie. So it's not the best Batman movie because I want to be realistic, but it is my favorite Batman movie because it's it led to everything else like Batman the animated series, getting Mark Hamill as the Joker. Like without that movie, the rest of the dominoes do not fall to get us where we're at today. If that movie's a failure, then Batman remains a joke. And like you might not even have the modern superhero movie now because that was the first evolution from well actually you could argue that Superman was the first evolution where they took a superhero movie seriously versus campy, but they went
Hmm.
right into camp real quick with that. At least you had two feature films before they went campy with Batman. But Richard Lester on the Superman movies just like immediate camp. The only reason why Superman 2 isn't super campy is because 70% of that footage is Richard Donner's. But yeah, I think that, like I said, Danny Elfman he's, he was at the height of his powers, so like the music is obviously going to be great. Michael Keaton soars as Batman, uh, that no one as the Batman that no one wanted, and Jack
And yeah, it's
Nicholson's
like still one
Joker.
of
Yeah, Jack Nicholson's Joker is fantastic. However, not brought up is that like murderous Batman. Like one of the hallmarks of Batman is that
the.
like he does not kill, but feature film Batman, cinematic Batman, aside from Christian Bale, kill straight up kill some dudes.
Well, no, remember Robert Pattinson's like, I don't kill anybody, but he like beat the shit out of those dudes in the beginning, and you're like, buddy, those guys are 100% dead and or like
Nope, they I beat them
permanently.
within an inch of their life. Like no, my favorite of all of those though is Ben Affleck when he goes to save Martha Kent. Like
Mhm.
not a person survives that except for Batman and Martha Kent.
He's like, I didn't kill anybody.
Yeah,
Ah!
he is throwing boxes loaded with machine guns at their heads and leaving blood splatter on the wall behind them. Like you know what I mean? Like just murdering people. Batman like that's how the movie ends is that he kills the Joker. I mean, technically, I mean, on a technicality, he doesn't kill the Joker. But in the first 30 seconds that he is seen in Batman Returns, like shooting bombs at people, like like if he's not murdering people, why are there bullets with like machine guns with live bullets on the Batmobile? Like, why do you have guns at all if you're not murdering people?
Maybe they're blanks, Patrick. You don't know.
Why would you need blanks? And if they were blanks, they wouldn't have shot through the door at Ace Chemicals.
I don't know. I'm trying to just justify it.
I'm just
But yeah,
saying that like that's the one thing that never really translates is that you're not supposed to kill people. I mean,
yeah.
everybody loses their crap about Superman, but I don't really think that was as firmly established with Superman as it was with Batman. Like, should Superman kill people? No, except for maybe General Zod. But Batman, like, is staunchly against it. I mean, that's how he became Batman. Why would you then in turn kill people? It would turn you into what you are fighting against. I don't know.
Correct.
Any final thoughts?
No, I just like Batman a lot.
You just like what?
Batman a lot.
Yeah, me too. But Yeah,
Yeah, I wonder why we had the VHS tapes in our home as children.
well, because I bought them.
Exactly. That was the point I was making. That I used to watch them all the time, but it was because you had bought them.
Oh yeah, they were great. I mean, I still have them all on DVD, somewhere around here. But I mean,
I remember that
Max
Batman
has all
Forever
of them.
box
What?
very well. I said I remember the Batman Forever VHS box.
Well, it's sad because nowadays you can buy all four of them on one DVD for like $5 at Walmart in those bins in the aisle.
Well, because they're also streaming. They're all on HBO Max right now.
That's what I was just to say. I said I had the DVD around here somewhere, and I watched it on Max.
Yeah, I
Like
watched it
when we
on
did
Max.
Back to the Future, that was the only one I had to bust my DVDs out for
Yeah, I rented because I don't have
because I was
access.
like Freebie. I'm not watching this with commercials. Like you could watch it on Freebie, and I was like, nah.
Yeah, but any final thoughts before I say what our next adventure is?
Uh, just like I said, man, if fans had gotten their way, we would have never had Michael Keaton. So maybe don't be so quick to judge and show a little faith.
That is true, guys. Our next adventure is very important to me, and I think what I will say with it is Patrick was very annoyed when we watched it together when the first one came out because, and I'll explain, and you'll know exactly what I mean. An actor who I love very much played his one of his all-time favorite characters, and I said out loud in a theater back in 2009, "Oh, I understand now. Captain Kirk's supposed to be hot." And Patrick just looked at me for an extended period of time and glared at me. See? Look, he's already huffing and puffing over there.
It's because William Shatner is the
No,
greatest.
no. I don't. I understand your love for Shatner, but seeing Pine as Kirk is what made me go, "Oh, I get it now."
My love for Shatner lets me know that I can never meet the man because he would hate me. And I know this because, like, it's not just Star Trek, folks. Like, Captain Kirk's not even my favorite character in Star Trek.
No, it's
It's
Data.
William Shatner, T.J. Hooker, Denny Crane. Like, just it's the judge at the end of Dodgeball and the way he
Yeah.
claps. Like, it's William Shatner is the greatest. And you can't have five wives if you're not hot.
Okay, sure. There's also a thing that's green. But guys,
What?
we're going to be
Orion's?
yes, we're going to be watching the Kelvinverse Star Trek movies. And I will make sure that we talk about my favorite of them, which is the third one, because it's the best of the three. And
It's
I want to
also the
find one
one
really bad.
that's the most like the original series away mission,
But it is also
except
the
for
one that is,
the
you
thing that
mean
drives
when
the
it is just
plot.
Search for Spock, which is one of my favorite of the original series movies?
Wait, you're saying that Star Trek Beyond's like the search for Spock?
Patrick, we have gotten in this before. The Genesis machine from Search for Spock is like the fucking machine in Star Trek Beyond that destroys planets. It's just the opposite.
Yeah, but you drive me crazy because the Genesis machine is from the Wrath of Khan, and you say this every time.
Okay, but it's still the
The
same. It's
Genesis planet is from Star Trek 3. The
okay. It's
machine,
the same
the
deal.
Genesis torpedo, if you will, is from the Wrath of Khan, and that's what
Okay,
you refer to.
but it's the same
Life
fucking
from
thing.
lifeness.
Anyways, we'll talk about this next episode. But yeah, Patrick, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me where love has been outlawed and justice has no name, fighting the good fight.
You're
Sorry, I
doing
need to
so well.
contemplate in the dark room. Rachel, can you tell them where they can find you? On YouTube, just look on your screen. It's
Oh
right
my
there.
god. You can find my work at the Mary Sue and Collider. You can follow me on social media. I am either Rachel Leishman or Rachel underscore Leishman everywhere. Um, and yeah, make sure you like, rate, review, subscribe, talk about the podcast, and genuinely just keep on listening.
Patrick, This is Patrick, you sexy son of a bitch.
Until next time, bye bye.